And we're live. Welcome back, guys. I'm Brian J. And today I have the honor to have two very special people, Team Canada for Miss and Mr. Supranational 2023. I have Luis and Alexa right here. Hi, how are you guys?
We're
Hi,
doing
I'm good.
good.
How are you?
So excited to be here.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I'm excited to have you guys. There is so much beauty on my laptop right now. It's insane. Um, Thank you, and I appreciate everyone for the patience because we did have some technical difficulties, but we are here now, and I hope you guys have the opportunity to fall in love with these two beautiful human beings. Now, like I said before, they are competing for Supranational USA, or sorry, Supranational 2023. That was yesterday. Sorry about that. Go watch that if you didn't watch it. But they are Team Canada. And yeah, I would love for you guys to start introducing yourself just in case someone doesn't know who you guys are. So let's go ahead with Alexa. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexa Marie Grant. I'm 21 years old, representing Canada for Miss Supranational. I am an international business student who has just come back from my exchange term abroad. I work as an environmental auditor part-time, and full-time, I am passionate and an advocate for youth empowerment. And I founded the nonprofit organization Beyond Our Now to do just that.
Whoa. Luis, can you
Oh,
top that?
isn't she amazing? I mean, I'll try my
No, it's
best,
not a
but okay.
competition.
Just kidding. So, hi everyone. My name is Luis Porteles. I am 27 years old. I was originally born in Cuba, but of course, I live in Canada in the beautiful city of Montreal. I graduated from university with a bachelor's degree in communication science, and I currently work for a financial institution in Montreal. I am also a content creator on social media. So if you're a pageant fan, maybe you have seen some of my content. And I am beyond proud to have the opportunity to represent Canada at Mr. Supranational. This is a comeback after a few years of absence. So I'm really happy about that.
Wow. Now, wait, what ages did you guys say you had, Alexa?
21.
21.
And I'm 27.
Wow, we're all over the place because I'm 29, 27, 21. Recently, Supranational, Miss Supranational raised the age limit. What do you guys think about that?
I think that was an amazing decision because I don't think you should be limited by your age. At the older ages versus the younger ages, you still have the same capabilities. You might be in different places in your life. So this just gives more opportunity to have girls shine and really showcase who they are.
But does it scare you, knowing that you might be going up against like a 33-year-old and you're 21?
No, I don't think so because people are at different stages in their life. They've had different experiences and have different things to share. So I think what I have to share at this moment might be equally as good as what someone has to share at an older moment.
Cool, cool. What about you, Luis? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I have to support what Alexa just said. I am a champion for, feminism and everything, all rights and equality for women. And I think that especially in today's society, when women have, access to so many different opportunities, education, and there's just so many amazing opportunities in pageantry, we shouldn't limit, the people who have access to these opportunities. So I think that the more the merrier, as we say. And I'm just really excited to see that the organization, the Miss Supranational organization, is going forward with being more open and more accepting of more women. Because at the end of the day, they're just creating opportunities for more people.
I love that. I love that. Thanks, guys, for putting that out there because, yeah, age is just a number. Like we spoke yesterday with the other contestants, it's just a number and it really just matters your life experience. So maybe someone that had I don't know, 20 years old has had a harder and more experiences in life than someone else that's 30. It really doesn't matter. So thanks for sharing that, guys. Now, I would love to know for all our fans watching right now, I know this is a typical question, but I have to ask it. Tell us about your preparation for Miss and Mr. Supranational.
I can go first if you'd like.
Of course, ladies first.
Uh, Thank you. We've talked about this on our live. me and Lewis before how we've both been prepping. Specifically with me, I've been doing a lot of outfit prepping because I know fashion is a big part of Supra, and it's one of my favorite parts of pageantry, actually. I've also been doing the typical walking practice. I've been working on my communication skills and looking for any areas that I can improve in what makes me confident so I can display my authentic self.
Please.
Amazing. For me, honestly, it has been a discovery journey because I was not expecting the preparation to be so intense. I am currently in the Philippines where pageantry is like the Olympics. So when I say preparation, what comes to mind is like 6 hours workouts, pretty much. So it's next level. But I am so thankful because it has pushed my limits in so many different ways, and it has given me such huge respect for what the contestants do and for everything, all the sacrifices that they have to do in order to prepare for this international competition. So,
And a lot of people do not know all the sacrifices that you guys have to do to compete in a pageant like this, let alone, something as big and international as Supra. So what has been maybe one of the hardest things? Like, let's get honest here and talk about the hardest thing. When has been the moment that you guys just get to your house and you're like, you know what? I'm going to cry because this is just too much.
I don't think
you want
I've
to go
ever
first,
reached.
Alexa?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't think I've ever reached that moment where I've been thinking I want to cry. I've had obviously moments where I've been a bit stressed because that comes with the sacrifice of time. Time is our biggest enemy in everything we do. I have time where I want to go see my friends. I just want to fit in with what everyone around me is doing, but with my own goal in mind. I can't always do that. I need to dedicate the time to Supra because it is what I'm passionate about. And at the end of the day, the time I put in is what's going to be evident with my performance.
True.
Sure. For me, the most difficult part has been, especially in the very beginning, to put together a small team of people who will be able to help me go through this journey because the Mr. Supranational Canada did not have an organization for the Mr. Supranational. So the moment that I got the confirmation that I was going to join, I had to really start building from the ground up, quite literally. But I have found so many different people who have been willing to help me, to support me on this journey. It's been amazing. And of course, I have also connected now with the Miss Supranational Canada organization as well. Especially the national director, Michelle, has been so supporting. She sent me a message, and I'm just blessed that I've been able to find this family as well in the country that is also very supportive and loving. So, but definitely
And speaking
preparation
of
has
that
been
country,
challenging.
you
Yeah.
guys both have a tie to Filipinos. I would include myself as well because I've been on the biggest website of pageantry for years, Missosology, from the very start, since I was a little kid. So I will include myself. But you two in particular have a very close connection with Filipinos and Filipino culture. So tell me a little bit about that.
So my mother is a Filipina. She's from the Philippines and she immigrated to Canada about 2 decades ago, where she established our family. And I was born and raised here, but my community in Canada has been largely made up of people from my mom's family, as well as people who also share that heritage. So I've been able to learn Tagalog by seeing the shows that were played on TV at my home, and it's been an overall great experience to have this culture in me, and it's something I carry forward with my values.
For me, I mean, the Philippines is pretty much the beginning of everything pageant related. I learned everything that I know about pageantry from Filipinos. I discovered the first beauty queens that I ever got to know was because of Filipinos. And now, when the opportunity came for me to join a pageant, that's one of the reasons why I decided to train in the Philippines because it's such a full circle moment. I just love everything about this country, the culture, the people. I just cannot say enough good things about them. Honestly, it's a huge part of my life and of where I am today as well. So
I can imagine that, as we all know, pageants are very big in Filipino culture. As Latino culture, almost all Latino cultures as well. And Luis, you're Latino. You have that Filipino backing. Alexa, you are a Filipino. So I can only imagine that there is a pressure for you guys, especially for you, Luis, because you're a pageant vlogger, an analyst. You make predictions, you do reactions. So I can imagine that there is a lot of pressure for you. And Alexa, you're Filipino, so there should be pressure because people are going to say, she's Filipino. She should be top notch.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't really look at that as something that is a negative thing or think that people have these expectations for me, because I think it comes a lot from myself. If anything, I am my biggest critic. I'm always the one who wants to push myself harder. And I'm most critical of myself, which is most important to me, because at the end of the day, my opinion is what matters. And paying attention to the opinion and expectations of others can be very toxic over time. It's good to take other people's criticisms as places where you can receive advice and positive uplifting.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree with Alexa on that. For me, to be honest, I thought that I would feel more pressure when I started this entire process, but as of right now, truthfully, I don't feel any pressure. I am enjoying this experience from beginning to end, and the people who have followed me for a long time, I just feel a lot of support, a lot of love, and it's all about the journey. For me to, like, a few years ago, discovering pageantry from my room in Canada, like reacting to videos, to now actually getting to compete in arguably the biggest male pageant in the world, is just a crazy journey. So for me, it's all about the message that I'm giving my audience, and they understand that. So I don't feel pressured to perform in a certain way. I just want them to go with me and be part of the experience with me.
And what an experience, Luis and Alexa, because you guys are literally leaving in just days. Isn't that
Yes.
insane?
Yeah.
Crazy.
If
So
the
what do you
days
think is from this point right now? You guys are in your room right now, sitting in a chair, thinking about I don't know what. But when you start thinking about what is the biggest change that you need to do or the thing that you need to improve on right now before you get to Poland, what would you guys say? And Alexa, I'll let you go first since you said that you're the most critical with yourself.
I think honestly it has to do with the confidence I have for each segment, because when it comes to the walking or the communication, all of these things together, I've had experience obviously with my national pageant, with what I do with my life, with education, but being on an international stage, specifically one of the biggest pageants in the world, it requires a different type of confidence where you're not just thinking if you feel good, but you have to feel your very, very best. You have to make sure you're putting in 100%. And that's where that comes from for me, and feeling constantly motivated, because with such a long time to prep, but also such a long time during the actual pageant, 3 weeks that we're going to be there, it is hard to stay motivated, but that is something I will work on. And because I'm so passionate about, I know I can make it happen.
It's in your blood, Alexa. It's in your blood. You'll be fine. What about you, Lise?
I mean, this journey is a journey of many firsts for me. First international pageant, first pageant at all. So I'm honestly just embracing the experience as I go. I'm trying to not overthink it and really just enjoy it, because I think that could be really the downfall of anyone who is in this situation. If you're overthinking, doubting yourself, I don't think that days before the competition is the time to really question everything that you're doing. It's really the time to just go and show the best that you have to offer. At the end of the day, it's a competition within yourself. You're not there to bring other people down. You're there just to prove that you are the right person for that title. So if the organization sees it in me, then perfect. And if they don't see it in me, that's also okay. I will also still support for whoever gets the title. But most importantly, just stay true to myself, be authentic, and enjoy.
Luis, and what do you have to offer? What if, let's say right now you're in front of those judges and they ask you, what do you have to offer us?
Well, I think that as someone who has been within the pageant community for a few years now, most importantly, something that I have and that I feel is a deep love and respect for the pageant community. And if I was privileged enough to have the title of Mr. Supranational, that's exactly what I would like my reign to be remembered for. Someone who really put in the work within this community to address some of the issues that we still face up until this day. I mean, so many contestants that go through cyberbullying, harassment, that go through racism, that go through, you name it. There are so many ugly things out there within the beauty pageant community that we still need to address. So more than anything, what I bring to the table is the understanding and the love for this community that goes beyond myself or my goals as a person. It's something that I want to give back for the community itself.
Alexa, what do you have to offer?
I am a woman of action above all, and I'm a risk taker. And with that, whenever I see something that I really want to accomplish, I give my 100%, I give my all, not just in the way I speak about it, talking the talk, but I also walk the walk. I make sure that I put in the moves to make it happen, use any resources that I have.
I like that a lot. A lot. You're very impressive, Alexa. Apart from being beautiful, I think we can all, agree on that. I can imagine that there has been some struggles in your life. And I always think that it's very important for us in the pageant community to kind of start or keep pulling back that layer of everything's perfect. We're just here on stage to look perfect. Everything is great. So I always really like to ask this question, and I would love to know, when have you struggled? What is your struggle? What is something you struggle with? Because maybe with you answering this question, you could help so many people, or someone could feel just maybe a little bit better.
Yes, so throughout my life, the biggest thing that I did struggle with was confidence. At the early ages, I had a speech impediment, actually, a very light one, but I had to go to speech therapy and things like that. And being in a community where it was majority Filipino, and I was that half person, didn't really know how to fit in. It all came together and made me a very shy person. And I hid a lot of things under the surface. I buried it because I was afraid to be myself. I want to be someone who was not me. And over time, I learned to embrace who I really am, whether that be through my cultural heritage, my cultural background, or working on the things I struggle with, like with my speech. And eventually, I was able to overcome that. And now at this young adult age, some things I struggle with that everyone relates to is every now and then I get a bit of anxiety when it comes to some of the things I do. I overthink a lot, and that adds to how I'm critical of myself. So there's always that positive aspect of now I can analyze where to improve, but there's that negative aspect of I'm thinking too deep into it and it's hurting me. So moving forward, I always surround myself with people who can bring me up, who can pull me back to earth when I'm in those moments of darkness.
Awesome. What about you, Luis? What's a moment where you have struggled, or a moment, maybe your darkest moment, if you would love to share that?
Yes. I mean, if I'm being quite honest, the beginning of 2022 was a very challenging moment for me. I experienced some loss in my family, the loss of my grandmother, more precisely. And it really affected me to an extent that I fell into like deep depression for a while. I was very unhappy with just a lot of things in my life. The place where I was, some of my goals, I felt like I hadn't reached it just yet, that I still needed to do so much work to get to a place where I would be content, I guess. But thankfully, through, I mean, my family support, through therapy as well, I was able to get out of it and really get myself out of my comfort zone. I think that that also is reflected in some of the changes that you have seen in my life for the past year. I mean, traveling, getting myself involved in the pageant, getting myself in new challenges. Like I just interviewed, let's say, like the owner of Miss Universe. So it's really just daring to try new things and not limiting myself to believe that there are limits around me that can restrict the person that I can be or that I can become. So going through that dark time really taught me, if anything, a very powerful message that you need to dare to try and believe in yourself, even when you think that nobody else believes in you.
Luis, you told me that you're 27. Alexa, you will probably not relate to this yet because you're only 21. But I recently turned 29, and I know that at least for me, I was struggling with age, and we don't hear a lot about that in male culture. So I would love to know maybe if you have felt that way, if you've struggled with maybe, like you said before, not feeling enough and being almost 30 and being like, I should be doing more. Has that been an issue with you?
That's been a big struggle. It was a struggle for a while. Uh, as of right now, not so much, if I'm being honest. But I mean, keep in mind, I also come from a Latino background. So in Latin culture, we want our kids to really go to school and get the traditional career paths, you know. Most people in my family back home, they're like doctors or teachers. And here I am, like graduating in communications and like film studies and stuff like that, being a YouTuber. And you know, it's quite apart from the traditional route. So a lot of people will question that sometimes, and even myself internally. And although I felt like I was on the right path, I will question myself and ask myself, you know, what am I going to do? Like, I'm soon going to be 30. Then, you know, professionally, where am I going? Where is this leading me? You ask yourself so many questions. But again, you have to remind yourself, each and every single one of us, we are in our own we have our own journeys and we have our own experiences. If you look at some of the people who have made it in life, you know, artists, you know, entrepreneurs, sometimes success comes later in life. So you just have to be in a path that is true to who you are, that is authentic to who you are, so that whenever you make it, you are content and happy with the place where you are. Can you imagine like being a super successful professional, but you are so unhappy with what you're doing? That's not the meaning of life. That's not what we should be striving for, right? Happiness should come hand in hand with success.
And also age, like you said, it doesn't define when you're going to be successful or completely happy because life is ups and down. So with that being said, Alexa, enjoy that you are 21 because we wish we were 21.
How do I go back?
Literally. If only I would have bought a house when I was 21.
Oh.
That would have been great. Alexa, I think that you should share with us a little bit more about how Filipino culture has inspired you to be a beauty queen, because I feel like I said before, that comes in your blood. And I would just love to know how you started in pageants and how this interested you, because a lot of people might look down at it and say, what? This girl's too smart, too beautiful to be doing pageants for what?
So for me, my family is very big on family gatherings. And one big family gathering that we typically did, aside from watching Manny Pacquiao fight, was when we would watch all of the big beauty pageants that would happen on stage. We'd watch them live. And from a young age, people would always tell me, you could do that one day. Why don't you do it? Eventually, I grew a bit taller than a lot of people in my class. And they said, well, you have the height for it now. And as I grew older, things started adding up. People kept suggesting it to me. And it became something that was in the back of my mind that I knew I could do. I wanted to be out there because as I grew more confident, I felt like I could use this confidence somewhere to really prove to myself that I can be myself in front of other people, not just in private, but I can use my platform as well. I can use my title for good.
What would you guys say, Luis, you're Cuban, Alexa, you're Filipino. So what would you say to those people that say, y'all aren't Canadian enough?
That's a
You want to go
funny
first, Alexa?
question. Sure. I would say that we are very Canadian because Canada is a cultural mosaic. Whenever you think of Canada, there is not one single, I guess, type of look that you're looking for, a specific way of speaking, a specific way of acting, because there is not a set identity of what it is to be Canadian. since we are made up of so many different cultures. So many people have immigrated from other countries and established their lives, which makes diversity. And that really is what we're representing here. We're representing that side of Canada.
Absolutely. I think that one of the beautiful things about Canada is that we don't really have to compromise. Like, I can proudly say that I am Canadian, and I can also proudly say that I'm Cuban, because it is part of me, you know, and the place where we live doesn't require for us to give up that part of our identity. Canada is made, its society is made of so many people from different backgrounds, and that's also part of the beauty of the country. So whenever people question, you know, how Canadian am I, it's like, you know, I literally grew up in Canada, went to Canadian school, I have Canadian values, I became the man that I am in Canada. So how can you question that? And it's also, I think that it's very important to also understand that within yourself, to be very secure about your identity, because people from many places will question that sometimes. But when you know who you are, no one can shake that core from you. Like, it's really, it's part of who you are. So it's impossible to take it away from us.
Right now, you mentioned Canadian values. So my question to you would be, what Canadian value can maybe you guys teach the world?
Right now, we have Pride Month and cultural months going on, I believe the Canadian value we can teach the world is acceptance, accepting people for who they are, no matter their background, where they come from. It is a really important thing, because that adds to the respect that we're offering people, and respect goes a long way.
Love
For
that.
sure. I think that, just like Alexa said, inclusivity and equality in Canada are big. I mean, gay marriage has been legal for like many, many years at this point, since 2005. So I think that they're a leading example of inclusivity. But I'm going to mention something else as well. I think that Canadians are known worldwide for their kindness. You know, when you go anywhere in the world and you mention, hey, I come from Canada, the first thing that people say is like, oh, Canadians are so kind, so polite, you know, so helpful. So those are things I also try to embody and to take with me wherever I go in the world.
And beautiful. Look at them.
Ah,
The Canadians are beautiful, clearly.
Thank you.
Guys, you guys are honestly amazing. Great speakers. I am very impressed. And I do want to ask you guys something that I asked the USA team. And yeah, let's go to it. Let's say that you guys are standing right in front of the judges at Supranational, and they're about to call time in your interview and ring that bell. What is something that you want to make sure that you tell those judges before you leave? Something that you'll regret not telling them. What is that?
I would say to those judges that I am a woman of action, and with my actions, I'm seeking to create powerful youth leaders, because with my advocacy for youth empowerment, that is something I aspire to do, to inspire them to embrace themselves as they develop their leadership and move forward, creating a better future.
I think that for me, it will be a tragedy if I finish that interview and I don't get to talk about my commitment to this cause and my commitment to this pageant as well. As I said earlier, because of my love and respect for the pageant community, I really want to be part of the change that I want to see within this community in the upcoming years. And how to do that, honestly, I feel like the easiest thing that we can all do is to just put in our time. You know, sometimes people question, how can we make a change? How can we, initiate something? And sometimes giving something as valuable as your time makes a huge impact. Think about it. I mean, some people can give money, some people can purchase things, some people can do, start an organization, but you can start with something as simple as just giving your money, something so valuable that you can never get back. So don't underestimate the impact that you can have in the world. And hopefully that's what I will be able to do with Mr. Supranational, give my time to this community.
You know what? A lot of times in the pageant community, like we talked before, by the way, great answers. Mental health is not something that we talk about openly. And I don't know about you guys. I'm not Canadian, so I'm not sure. But I know that here in the US, it's a very big problem. We don't talk about our emotions. We don't talk about how we feel. So how important is that to you guys? And what do you guys do to make sure that you care for your mental health, especially in a platform where you're so criticized, you're under the microscope, and so many people have so many opinions about what you're doing?
Mental health also is a big issue here in Canada, as we're living in this fast-paced place where we have a lot of expectations put on us. We have a lot of competition going on. It's in the nature of how we get our jobs and everything. And personally, I feel that when I go into a career and I carry that mindset that I spoke about before, where you don't let the opinion of others define you. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to things like pageantry, what you are comes from how you feel about yourself as well. When you have mental health issues, it not only affects your mind, but it affects you physically. It can affect how you interact with others. And it is not a good place to be when you are struggling with a mental health issue. So it is something very important that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. I also think it's very important to start by addressing the stigma around mental health. You know, up until this day, for a lot of different communities, I mean, I know for a fact for the Cuban community, it is definitely a thing that, you know, it can be seen as something negative. You know, when you talk about your mental health, or if you're looking for help from a professional. But we really need to understand that mental health is part of our overall health. So whenever you are not doing okay, you need to look for help. You need to find systems and support so that you can, you know, do better and be better in the future. I personally, as I said earlier, when I went through dark times, I did look for help, and it did such a huge difference in my life. It's also important to slowly but surely build a small support system of people that can be your safe space. Can be a friend, can be a family member, someone that you can talk to and that you know that they will be there for you without judgment, and that they genuinely care for you. And at the end of the day, one of the biggest changes that you can have in your life, or that you can do for your mental health, is protect your space. Whenever there is something around you in your environment that is causing problems or making you feel anxious, address those things. Don't put them in the back burner, because sometimes our environment has a lot more impact than what we can think, you know, and how we feel and how we react to things.
Great. Well, guys, let's get into something really, really fun. It might not be fun, actually, but I would love to know, because you guys have that pageantry blood in you. And Luis, this is a little bit of pressure on you, obviously, but who is your biggest competitors as of now? I know you guys have seen them. Come on, let's be honest. Who's your biggest competitors?
I've seen the girls, but I don't think I can pinpoint a few handful of girls, because everyone's so amazing this year. A lot of the girls have amazing platforms. They have good communication skills, amazing walks, amazing looks. So it's hard to select just few people because everyone has things to offer. I think overall, with my biggest competitor, that would be myself, because of how critical I am of myself, but also because that is who I'm competing against overall. I need to be my best.
Good question. I mean, honestly, I don't mean to sound cliche, but I think that my biggest competitor might be sometimes the pageant fans and the audience, because while we're putting ourselves in this position, we are also trying to open their minds to new possibilities, right? I am not your typical male candidate. I don't have the muscular body, or I'm not the tallest. I'm not the most handsome in the competition. But as someone who understands the purpose of a pageant and what the organization is trying to achieve, you know that the physique is not everything. So when I think of people that, of course, people might see as direct competitors, there's quite a few. I mean, I can think of Korea, I can think of Argentina, I can think of Ecuador, I can think of so many different countries that are exactly what people, let's say, like would embrace and accept. And you know, even myself, I give credit to them because they're so incredible in every single way. But I don't really limit myself or put myself down. I really try to see the things that I have that I can bring to the table, and that I'm sure that they also have, their own strengths and things that they can also deliver. But my goal overall is really to change and challenge the mindset and the perspective of the pageant fans, so that's a starting point for us to build a more inclusive and accepting pageant community. I mean, especially within male pageantry. So there you
Yeah,
go.
I agree with you, Luis. I honestly, I mean, if you guys seen my YouTube channel, I've really never covered a male pageant. So this is actually my first year where I had to judge Mr. USA or Mr. Supranational USA and Miss Supranational USA. So I am someone that is also experimenting all first, just like you, Luis, from a different, obviously, perspective. So it is really interesting to see it, from your side, because you have two different kind of sides. You have the pageantry side, the vlogger side, and then you have the first timer side. So it's really interesting to see that. Guys, you guys
add
are
a little something, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want maybe the pageant fans to think about this, but if you put yourself in the shoes of an organization, right? Would you give a title to someone that is just a beautiful face and a beautiful body, but it's like they cannot represent you fairly when they travel internationally, or they have an attitude problem, or they don't have the commitment to the cause? So it's more than just looks. That's my message to them. They can do whatever they want with that message. And as I said, my co-candidates are all amazing. I'm getting to know all of them. I'm also having interviews with them, and I am really happy because the caliber this year at Mr. Supranational is so high. But whether it is with the misses or with the miss or with the misters, don't limit your perspective to just a beautiful face and a beautiful body. That's not a title holder. That's like a model. That's a beautiful person, pretty much. But
that's not how you win a. Yep, that's not how you win a pageant or a competition. And you know what? I'm known for being honest, and I'll be honest right now. I'll spill some tea. When I judged Mr. Yeah, literally Mr. and Mrs. United States, let me tell you, there were some beautiful. I'm gonna specifically talk about the guys. It was my first experience. The guys, there were some really handsome guys that were great models, and they would do a really good job. And I remember the final night when some of them didn't make it, they were very upset. And yes, you're beautiful, you're great, you're inspiring, you've done so much, cool. But it relies on so many other factors: your personality, your commitment. And that's something great that I see from both of you: your commitment, your want, your fire for being there. And it's really commendable and inspiring, even as a pageant analyst, a pageant fan, or just as a person. It's inspiring to see that you guys are really going for it and that you really want it. And that ties along with what you just said, Luis. It's really important that the pageant community knows that it's not just a face. It's more than that. Yes, yeah, we want someone that looks good, obviously. We want some, let's be honest. We want someone that looks good, someone that.
So
what was that?
That's part of it. It's a beauty pageant at the end of the day, so that's part of it, right?
It's part of it, but then it's not the only factor. Sometimes someone can have this personality that is just charming, inspiring, beautiful. You feel great being around them. And that could be what levels up someone that maybe isn't that beautiful or is more beautiful. There's so many aspects, like Luis said. And I commend you guys again for having that compromise and that passion with this. It's really inspiring. And I hope that everyone sees it and just gets excited and does whatever they think they can't do. They try it. Because look at Luis. He's an example. From being in front of a camera to now being in the back of the, or in front of the camera. Well, in the back of the camera, it depends on how you recorded, right? But you know what I mean? He's going to be in front of the camera now at Supra. So it really takes guts to do stuff like that. And Alexa, you being Filipino, there is, expectation. So it really does take a lot of courage to say, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do my best. So I commend you guys for that. And I hope the whole pageant community has fallen in love with you guys. I want to appreciate you for taking this time. I know you guys are just leaving in days. I love saying that just to freak you guys out. It should be good excitement though. It should be good excitement.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for the opportunity and for being here, and hopefully just making everyone, like I said, fall in love with you. Go ahead and follow these people on social media. Go ahead and plug yourselves, guys. Go ahead, Alexa.
So on Instagram at @AlexaMarie_Grant and Facebook, Miss Supranational Canada.
Luis?
All right, so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as Luis Porteles. TikTok, Luis Porteles_official, because someone took my my username. Yes, and thank you guys for the support and the love. And of course, in the upcoming days for both Alexa and I, we will have our voting system for Super Chat and upcoming competitions. So your support goes really, really a long way. Thank you, guys.
Oh, if this was a preview of the Super Chats, I'm excited because you guys did really good. Guys, and I'm Brian Javier. You can follow me right now, actually, because you're on YouTube and you like pageants. I like pageants. We're meant to be together. So go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and turn on that bell notification. Why not? Because there will be more interviews with the Supra teams. I think I have South Africa next, so that's going to be super exciting. Two wonderful people, just like these two. They're wonderful. Please go follow them. Again, thank you for the opportunity. You guys are amazing. People, go and support these guys. Go like all their pictures, go stalk them, go share them. It really helps. It really helps, and it motivates them just a little bit more to give them, give all on stage and in Poland. I am very proud of you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here once again. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for the space and the time, huh?
Yes,
of course.
thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And yeah, guys, make sure that you let us know what you guys think about them. Look how amazing they are. So see you guys later. Bye. And